everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Eddrick Show. I am Eddrick Jerome, your host. We always offer, of course, intelligent conversation with interesting people. Please hit the subscribe button below as we try to grow this thing from the ground up. You can get us on the Eddrick Show on Facebook. You can also find us on Instagram at Eddrick Show. Very talented guest today, and this is more. This is my brother right here, so this is going to be more than just an interview. But Lamont Young is an award-winning actor, writer, and producer. You may have seen him recently in a national commercial for Etsy. He's also had recurring roles as the Butcher on Nickelodeon's Danger Force. He's performed on stages all over California, Northern and Southern California. His action and production skills have led to 2 distinguished awards so far in 2021. He was named Best Actor at a New York IMDB qualifying event for his monologue in the short film Blue Eyeshadow, which he also co-produced with his company. Blue Eyeshadow was also awarded second place in the New York City I.O. Film Festival and was screened during this year's Oakland International Film Festival. In fact, it helped kick off the event. Lamont, my brother, how you doing, man?
I'm blessed, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Likewise.
And you are definitely my brother, so this is it definitely feels good to be here and just be able to spend some time in fellowship with you, with the distance and all that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's begin. Let's start at the beginning. Where did you grow up? What were the formative years?
I'm from Vallejo, California. Yay area.
707.
Yeah, 707. Grew up on Magazine Street in South Vallejo. For anybody from Vallejo, you know what that represents. That's where E40 came from, and and the Click, and and a bunch of people like that. That whole little early rap era in the Bay Area with E40 and coming from a Vallejo. Yeah, that was the whole atmosphere I grew up in. So everybody wanted to be a musician and a rapper, and at first that's kind of where I was as far as wanting to be a rapper or a musician or a part of a dance group, because that's really where my main influence was in the community.
Right on. Obviously, you have a talent for acting and producing. So where did that start? That love for the theater and performance?
Well, you know what? That happened. That's the reason why I led the groundwork talking about started the discussion rather talking about music was actually my love, even though I can't sing a lick. But what I was able to do, is I was always very meticulous about details, because I love jazz music. So that had my mind always looking at intricacies and connectivity between things, and how do you go from one extreme to the next and bridge the gaps, and the emotionality that was in it and how it's displayed. And I used to translate that into how I watch TV. So everybody knows me, I'm always critiquing everything. And so one day I was just critiquing a film, and something inside me told me, why don't you throw your hat in the ring? And so I didn't pay too much attention to it, but the next day I was driving down the street, and this was in Napa, which is adjacent to, to Vallejo. And Napa Community College had a big banner saying auditions. So I was driving by, open auditions. So I'm driving by, and something just was that same voice, go, 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 go. And I ran over the curb because I almost missed the turn, because that's how much I was battling it. And so went in there, wet behind the ears, didn't know anything, just had somebody help me fill out the application and the process. And I went in there, and they were doing this play called, I forget the name of the play. Lend Me a Tenor, and they needed someone to be an Italian accent. So I went up there and gave my best Italian accent, and when I was done, the director came to me and told me, "Hey, Lamont, that was an excellent Jamaican accent, but not an Italian accent." And in the interim of us sitting here, they're talking. The director from a play next door that was doing a play called Plaza Suite came over. And he heard me.
Neil Simon play, right?
Neil Simon play, right. Yes. And he heard me, doing my thing, and he asked that director if I could audition for his play next door. So I went next door and auditioned for his play and got the lead role, and that kind of started me. I went from there to doing Shakespearean improv, and doing all the classical plays, playing Othello and doing all that stuff, and just became the go-to guy in the Bay Area for a while for different plays. And, you know, and from there, it just kind of, I've probably been in over 30 plays, different plays. Yeah.
In fact, the first place I saw you was here. I think it was in Fairfield on stage. You were in a Terrence Ivory production. Shout out to our brother Terrence Ivory.
That's my brother. Yeah.
And so I saw you. That was the first time I really recognized or to notice you in a performance. Now, and having said that, you know, we were able to do some things on stage with Blue Eyeshadow, yes. A stage play based on a short story. Talk to me about being part of a brand new play, something that hadn't been performed before. And how you were able to embody the character in Blue Eyeshadow.
Well, for me, what I had to do is I had to actually just, well, let me backtrack. For one thing, it was getting an opportunity to meet you, right? And getting an opportunity to develop a relationship with you and a brotherhood with you during the process of understanding the script, which helped me to come to the characterization, because I was able to hone in on a lot of the emotionality and the emotions, both. You know, then there is a distinction, you know, that needed to be conveyed in order to be able to really truly connect to the piece and to allow others to look past the subject matter and really see what was at the heart of it, right? That emotional connectivity that you wrote it for, because you are the writer. But I don't know if you told people this brother's a phenomenal writer. This is the right. He's asking about it, and this brother actually wrote the piece. You know, so it was something that aided in my process. Now, putting that aside, my normal process for doing any acting is just to read the piece. I'm a detail man, so I just read the piece, and I'm someone that leads with my spirit in all things. So I think spirits and emotions are intricately, connected. So I allow myself to openly read the piece, and what I mean by that was to truly read the piece from an empathetic perspective. And once I do that, I was able just to immediately just drop my emotions and my things that I've dealt with and issues that I've had and things that I've had to deal with directly into that and make that a part of who I am, because that human experience is the same, you know. So for me, man, it was just a process of really truly falling in love with your brother, actually, man, to tell the truth. Because when you read the story and really see what you were doing, you were saying, hey, look, past all the nonsense, I love my brother. I love my brother. There's nothing that could be said, nothing that could be done, nothing that could be reiterated or placed in a different way that's going to make me shift my perspective. I love my brother, period. And I have the same love for my family. You know, I have family members that are in prison right now, been in there all their lives, and, you know, at least 30 years now. That's death. And, you know, and so for me, I could relate is what it is, man. You know, and I still love my brother. I still love him, even though I may not know my brother like you may not have known everything about your brother because of the different cultures that you're a part of, as far as the lifestyles. That had nothing to do with the expression of love. And that's what I focused on to get to my characterization.
And it was important where, you know, we got to do this play the first time. I mean, we were at the Bakery School of Theater in Berkeley, which is, you know, affiliated with the Berkeley Repertory Theater, which is a prestigious, if not one of the most prestigious on the West Coast. How did it feel being a part of that atmosphere and being able to perform, you know, in those hallowed grounds, so to speak?
You know, that was an experience and a major blessing, you know, and I say that just because the fact, like you said, that's the Mecca in the Bay Area, right? That's one of the Meccas, right? As far as where you want to perform. Berkeley Repertory Theater, come on, it's major. You know, so, you know, from that perspective, man, as an actor, I was like, wow, okay, all right. But you know me, a little bit of me was like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. Right. You know, I got that mindset. The brother was like, please, y'all should have been had a brother. up in here, to be honest. And if I didn't want to come back, I'd tell y'all, a little bit on why, as far as where he was wrong and take us along to bring me, But so I part of me was like, okay, yeah, this is the launching point, because I don't see myself as just an actor that's one dimensional as far as where I'm able to show my influence, right, and my ability to showcase myself. So, which is why I moved down to LA. So for me, when I finally was able to do that, it fulfilled for me something where I could put a little feather in my cap, right? Be like, all right, told y'all. now I'm ready to go for Broadway.
I heard that. Let's put a pin in that, because I want to come back to that, because we had a major impact from COVID-19, which I'll get to in a minute. But I'm gonna go back to some of the things you've done even prior to Blue Eye Shadow and some of the things you were doing before. What was it like working for Nickelodeon on Danger Force, and just the idea of being part of Nickelodeon's some of the things that they've been doing?
You know what? That was surreal. That was surreal. My wife and I sat here and watched my episode, and after it first aired, and we were, and it was very surreal, because you go from a point. I like I told you how I got started, to be sitting on my in my bedroom watching TV, critiquing television, and now I'm actually watching myself along with millions of people around the world, watching myself on TV, and so it was that in itself was just, I don't know, humbling, yeah, and in the aspect of just being very grateful for God blessing me with the opportunity. The experience itself was eye-opening. And realistically, man, and this might sound weird, but me and my level of confidence, what it did, it showed me, hey, I could do this. Y'all not that far off from, y'all got more money to do it, but the processes are pretty much the same that I do. So it kind of encouraged me, especially how open the people were as far as their openness, as far as their culture, as far as, hey, come on in, you're part of the Danger Force family, and and how people were very encouraging and supportive of, would it be in my first time, and and just the whole experience was something that was very eye-opening, and let me know that Hollywood isn't as what we think it is, on a bunch of different levels.
Exactly.
And it was a blessing, because, like I said again, it brought an awareness to me that hey, if these people, I'm talking to these people and I'm interacting with these people, and they're accepting me as part of this culture and this group of people that produce and act and perform on this level, then why can't I take that same thing and go do it and create my own crew and my own organization and my own to do the same?
And that's a great segue, because now I'm going to go back to Blue Eye Shadow. We did it, at the Baker School Theater, in front of a live audience, about 100 people, got great reception. We were taking the feedback. We were going to go back, workshop it. And the plan was to perform it during the International AIDS Conference in San Francisco in July of 2020. Obviously, COVID hit, and those plans got shelved. I remember having a conversation with you and Terrence and Sandra Varner from August Varner Media about perhaps doing this on film. Mm-hmm. And the reason I want to circle back to it is because I know you had that experience from Nickelodeon. And so when we had the idea and start putting the plans together to put it in place to shoot and to film the short film Blue Eye Shadow, I saw those elements in how you were able to gather the crew together, get the right folks in place, find the studio. So tell me about that process of the filmmaking itself, and how you were able to take some of those lessons you may have learned from Nickelodeon or other productions into Powerhouse Productions and working with Envision 8 Studios and the awesome crew you assembled.
Yeah, that's right on. Okay, so, well, for one, my process of building any crew is to first be part of a crew. You got to be willing on following someone and blessing someone, openly and wholeheartedly in order to be able to get them to want to reciprocate. So, so building the crew for me was just as simple as reaching out to people that I've helped and blessed before. and, and they reciprocated because it was sincere. Right. Now, all those people, again, were people that I've worked with in different capacities for different productions, whereas I on various levels. So I did have a few people that I could pick from, but for me, the process was, again, starting from my intimate knowledge of the piece, having performed it before, and knowing what emotion I wanted to convey, because, being in communication with you. So I was like, okay, look, I know for one thing, we're going to have to bring back the director that helped us navigate through the piece live. So that was Terrence. We brought him back, Terrence Ivory, to direct the film, because we wanted to augment the different things that we had found in the piece live. Also, the brother also helped us, do some of the screenwriting for it, transitioning the piece from the stage to the screen, and bringing in a bunch of different visual elements, because your words were there. So we didn't really change the words, but we just added physical elements because in the play piece, it was more of a personality straight, me-driven piece connecting to the audience. We were in a black box theater almost setting, and we were just really engaged. It's about engagement, right? And so we wanted to make sure that we took that element to the film. So, and I expressed to the team that what I'm looking for is for people to fall in love with my brother through me. Falling in love with me, and through me transitioning that love that I had, that they have for me, to the love that I have for my brother. That had to be, no matter how artistic we got, the bottom line, everything had to undergird that sentiment. So that was my focus for building the team, those people that I knew could convey that emotionality, and people that I knew could buy into that concept and that understanding, and the people that I knew were going to be passionate about it. You know what I'm saying? That, meaning they have a vested interest in what we're talking about the whole way. That's all we were, that was our bar. If someone came up with any, because we have a very open, collaborative workspaces, that's what I like to, create, because I believe in bringing creative people together and allow them to be creative within their space. Right.
Absolutely.
So, people would come up with ideas and transitional pieces and things to try to, press the story along visually. And the bar of ethics was, does it distract from the love story, or does it add to the love story? And that was our parameters of adherence and excellence as we pressed through the piece, from the beginning of formulating the crew all the way to the end in post-production.
Well, one thing that people remark on is the look of the film. As I said, we had a chance to screen it opening night of the Oakland International Film Festival. It was the first time I got to see it, along with others, on the big screen. Outdoor setting right by Jack London Square. It was beautiful. Shout out to David Roach, too, for selecting us to help kick off the Oakland International Film Festival this year. Seeing it on the big screen, people commented on the quality of it. And, we're just average brothers creating, and, our budget was our budget. It wasn't, it wasn't Nickelodeon by far. But to get that level of the look of it and the feel of it and the tone, it all clicked, man. And so when you see it and you go back and you watch it now, do you get caught up in it still? What's your, as time goes by, how do you feel when you see it now?
Yes, I do. And first, let me say this. Let me give a big support and love to my wife, Tamara Young, because she's the owner. Let me go and say it the right way. Her and I own Powerhouse Productions together, and she is not just somebody that sits back. She is a producer of the highest order, and her ability to help us to be able to stay on task and stay focused and connected to what to the piece in real time was integral in helping us to have such a success in it, right?
Absolutely.
So, but as we watch it now, even, I say this as an actor, I hate watching myself because I'm too hypercritical. I'm too hypercritical, not from a personal perspective, just in general, as I'm viewing things like that. So I'm always, nah, that didn't work. And to me, this is the first time, one of the first times I should say, that I watched something and I forgot it was me. I was so intrigued in the story and the visuals that we put together and the story that we were able to tell that I was like, huh? Oh, dang, that's me on doing that. That's and I know people say, well, that's not your best performance. I said, no, but I understand what you're saying, because you see me do some, riveting, big episode. But this was one of the first times that I was able to connect, I believe, with the audience, truly connect. I mean, I always believe that there's some degree of connection, but this whole piece was driven by me talking directly to the people. And so for me, I think it brought out something else in my character as I was going through the process of acting, that as I watch it now, man, I'm like, I think I was outside of myself to a degree. As far as being what was leading me. It was God's spirit leading me, because I got through that place where I was, truly just, like I said, dealing with it empathetically from that perspective of love, man. So I think that's what came out when and that's what radiates when I'm watching the piece. And so it kind of transitions me from that critical thing to where I'm doing the same thing as everybody else. I'm like, wow. And then, and now I'm catching little nuances and little things. I'm like, damn, I don't even remember doing that. Oh, wow. What the heck? So yeah, it's and then with the success that we're receiving with it, as I sit back and watch it now, it's not the critical eye of what you're doing wrong or what you did wrong. Now I'm looking at it, as an actor. Now I'm looking at it as a producer, looking back, like, okay, what processes took place to get that result. So, okay, I'm like, okay, I need to maintain that and keep that. Okay, yeah, we need to tweak that a little bit. The next time we need to, so because now I'm able to accept my acting and what the piece is, it allows me to be able to move on to a different, form of analysis, I guess. I know that's not technical, but.
Absolutely. And, again, we would be remiss if we didn't mention, we get the film completed and we start the film festival circuit, and all of a sudden Lamont wins an award for Best Monologue from a New York City Best Actor Award. We get second place at the New York IO Film Festival for narrative short, which was an amazing, amazing feather in our cap. And, we're doing the film festival thing, and people were like, "Oh, you got selected in, first two out of the first couple." I'm like, "Well, yeah." They go, "Well, that doesn't really happen, guys. So, pay attention."
First two out of the four that we submitted to six.
Absolutely.
And 1, 2 already.
Absolutely. And this will be airing before, but it is themed around, we want to do something around World AIDS Day. And so shout out to Argus Barner Media and Sandra Varner and KOFY TV in San Francisco and Lifelong Medical, because Blue Eyeshadow will be screened over the course of a couple of days during Thanksgiving week, including on World AIDS Day. So folks will get a chance to see it there. We'll put links to all of this in the description, and where you can actually see the film. And actually, it's available. It's widely available now. Shout out to Joe Guidry Jr., who did the theme song for Blue Eyeshadow. So I always want to give Joe credit. That's going to be available on iTunes as well. So it's all coming together, man. And I thank you for coming on, and we just having this conversation about it, because it's a project that's going to be around for a while. So look for it soon. Blue Eyeshadow, you'll be able to get it very quickly.
And you know what, man, and kudos to you, man, for sharing that story with everyone. And that's deeply personal. Very personal story, man. And and through you sharing that and your vulnerability in sharing that, bro, it's gonna offer up a lot of healing to people, man.
Yeah.
And healing that we really desperately need in our culture and our in our in our communities right now. You know, just as an aside, real quick, and I'm not going to get on a tangent.
Sure.
There's a lot of divides in our community and culture. And at this point in time, where we're at right now, we need to be looking at areas of connectivity and embeddedness in community driven efforts to collaborate and to build and edify and strengthen each other. And I think this piece helps in that endeavor, man, because it helps to push the narrative of let's just show love, let's show compassion, let's show empathy, let's look at the humanity within each other. So kudos, bro. Out of your vulnerability, that's the reason why we're having the success, because of it.
Well, thank you very much, man. Appreciate that. Lamont Harold Young, yes. Versatile actor, producer, writer, everything, man. Again, thank you so much for coming on the Eddrick Show. Really appreciate it. And
thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. It's a pleasure being a part of your family, and the Blue Eyeshadow family, and I'm grateful, eternally grateful, man, for you allowing me again to help share such a precious memory, man, and vulnerable expression of your love for your family, man.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. This has been the Eddrick Show. I am Eddrick Jerome. Again, please hit the subscribe button as we build this thing from the ground up. We always promise intelligent conversation with interesting people. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram. You'll get a hold of us. We'll put all that stuff. You can get a hold of us and let us know what you think about the show. Please subscribe, because again, we are trying to build this thing from the ground up. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode.